Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Jelpy and Ghosty. Booby is back.
Booby has returned.
Yes. Okay, so this one...
I saw somebody bought the Booby shirt. Forgive her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hey, if you bought a shirt from us and you want us to feature you on the channel in the We're in the World's Village section, just email us, vinandsori@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Because, especially if you're rocking a Booby shirt, I want to see that.
Yes.
I want to see how it looks.
I agree.
Forgive all.
Forgive all.
Forgive all.
So this is the Epic Underground.
Yep.
You want to give your little spiel?
Multiple ways to get a song viewed, regular ways. Send us an email, Facebook message, Instagram, Twitter, whole 9 yards. So that's one way. Also the comment section. That's one way. Another way is to join an alliance. Anyway, go ahead. Join an alliance. $1 at the gate, I think, and then
that's how you get into Patreon. There's a couple different things going on in there. We've been trying this new keto diet that we've been on for like a week and a half.
Yeah,
so we've been giving some little updates there. Oh,
there's also Super Saiyan Sori.
Yeah, I've got to post that in there.
I'm gonna send it to this. Yeah, this
to
is
my computer.
One, right? Yeah. All right,
yeah.
So I'm gonna send this up,
and I'll get that.
Have Super Saiyan Sori.
It's
I guarantee you guys are going to get a kick out of that story on Patreon. But anyway, this is the Epic Underground Alliance. So before we do that, so yesterday was pretty tough on us because we had to report a death of a villager. But today is awesome, and it's still today in California.
Yep.
So it's 9:40 in California right now. So shout out to Pony Freaking Morgan.
Happy birthday!
OG villager. Just not more than a villager. I mean, a friend.
Yeah. Yeah. She got to go out for her birthday. But she brought Gia with her to the restaurant. I said, "Wait, you're going out for your birthday and you're bringing it?" But
unbelievable.
You know, she's like me. I don't want anyone watching my kids.
I know.
No, I
know. So shout out to Pony. You've lit up our life on a multitude of occasions. Mm-hmm. She's also the one that introduced me to Go Self Score, Nightwish.
Yep. That he still listens to a bunch.
Your favorite singer, Floor.
Oh, I thought that was your favorite. Which one's your favorite? Her or Cardi B? It's tough, huh?
Flory B.
Really?
If you combine Cardi and...
Oh, Flory B.
Floor,
I see what you did.
It would be Florida.
Oh my gosh.
So there you go.
Oh,
all right.
Lord.
This is When the Guns Fell Silent by WARBRINGER. Let's do it.
All right. Ready? Go.
O my brave companions, when your souls flock silently away, and the eyeless dead shame the wild beast of battle on the ridge, death will stand grieving in that field of war, since your unvanquished hardihood is spent. And through some mooned Valhalla there will pass battalions and battalions, scarred from hell, the unreturning army that was youth, the legions who have suffered and are dust.
Whoa. Build up here is pretty crazy. Very, very ominous. Yeah.
Turn it up. Wow. Well, that's crazy. Ugh. Wow.
War's hell, man. Good Lord.
Right now, there's an alarm going off. We're currently recording at 1 o'clock in the morning, and somewhere in our house, one of the kids has an alarm on. Our kids are so weird. Who sets an alarm for 1 a.m. and it sounds like one that's like, there's a bomb coming. It's like, we should all head to the bomb shelter.
This room smells like a giant pickle. Unbelievable.
It's disgusting.
What a...
Actually, you know what? It's good for you because I've decided not to eat those pickles anymore because I can't believe that I afflicted you with that.
It's pretty disgusting.
I know, and you took it like a boss. Though it's so gross.
Well, things we do for the people we
For
love.
love.
All right.
It's Clausen pickles. They're awesome, but whoo!
They're also disgusting.
They're very potent. Yeah, this was a tough one. Like, okay, sonically, it was amazing. I loved what they did with it. They took it quite a few different places. I think they really, really did a good job.
Yeah.
The voice was perfect.
This was insane. This is one of the best songs I've heard in 2020.
Yep.
Thus far.
This was really, really good.
Man, what a... okay, so this is about the Battle of Verdun. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this was a French kind of up against the Germans in World War One. It's Battle of Verdun in France versus Russia.
Russia?
France versus Germany. Sorry. I mean, look at these calculations. In 1980, John Terrain calculated 750,000 Franco-German casualties in 299 days. So in under a year, over almost close to 1 million casualties.
It's so sad, too, because it's not like it's old men don't fight wars.
Right.
You know, old men decide that wars are going to take place, but it's young men that fight wars.
Right.
Ugh.
Right.
First, I don't know what the actual music video is, but this lyric video was heart-wrenching. You know, some of the pictures that were in here.
Yeah. And then when you
there
look...
were so many people.
When you look, here on the History Channel, it says 143,000 dead Germans out of 337,000 casualties, and a French total of 162,440 dead with a 377,231 casualty count. So, I mean, when he talks about the thousands dying, nameless, forgotten, or whatever...
Yeah, it's just a number with here.
You know, listening to Hardcore History about a lot of this stuff. Hardcore History is a podcast that you should definitely subscribe to. And you talk about World War I, World War II. But
oh yeah, they were interesting. Yeah.
It's like, he had some crazy figure, like more people died on one day in World War II than had previously happened in world history across the globe for like 1,000 years prior because of the technological upgrades.
Yeah.
And it was trench warfare, and you know, the guy blows the whistle, you gotta go. You know, and so it's like, whoa, man, that's intense. I mean, how do you? God almighty, you know, back in the day, old people, old people always say, oh, back in the day, I had to go 2 miles, no shoes, up both hills, yada.
Uphill both ways.
I just feel like these guys had it a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
You know, like. Black Hawk Down became this giant phenomenon, especially everybody in the soft community. But like, I think it was like 18 to 23 guys died. You know, in that operation, the Gothic Serpent operation. But like the amount of like 18 in a day would have been great news for these guys. They would have been over the moon. You know, and same thing with Extortion 17. You know, I think it's 38 guys died in that one. It's absolutely horrible, obviously, but like these guys, I mean, it was just a meat grinder, man. These guys were getting wrecked and they were dying like mad, and they were casualties and I'm sure amputations and just horrors. You know, people talk about the horrors of war.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of these lines in here, there was like one part. First of all, that guy that was reading at the beginning, he had a good voice for that.
Oh, my brave companions. Yeah.
There was a part where he said, oh gosh. They were cut down, I saw, as the brave men. This part was tough. Died by the thousands, forgotten, their names carved upon a white cross. The rose stretched into the horizon, and no words can speak of the loss. When I see those pictures...
The next line is probably what you're looking for. I saw warriors broken upon the anvil of Verdun, unreturning the legions who suffered in our dust.
No, it was talking about that basically, like, the effects of war. It's probably this one. And when the guns fell silent at last, there's nothing that remains of the past. The world that I knew is dead and gone. My soul is left in ruins, and I cannot see the dawn. Yeah. Oh, that was so heartbreaking.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal stuff. My
soul is left in ruins, and I cannot see the dawn. And when I hear that line, there's been lots of wars that have been fought. There's been lots of, people that have done things military-wise. And, like, when you think about the effects of war on a soul, and how it affects the person when they come back, and, it's hard for them to engage in civilian life after, and like the PTSD and the different things that they have to deal with. It's just, and when it says my soul is left in ruins and I cannot see the dawn, the depression and the different things like it's very, very true. It's very, very true. And we've seen it in, our videos in the comment sections, people will reach out to us or emailing us and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was watching, I think Jocko Willink was doing a podcast with Rogan. He was talking about how this is what he's wanted to do for his whole life as a kid, running around in the woods and all the rest of it. And he was in Ramadi in 2006, which was pretty much the height, the tip of the spear as far as jihad goes. And man, in the whole sort of since 9/11 till current, Ramadi was the ugliest. It was very, very ugly, and the people they were dealing with were extremely. I mean, these guys were 100% evil motherfuckers that deserved to die. If I'm not wearing my Christian pacifist,
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
Non-fatality hat. And you in every war, there's sort of that mutual respect from guys like across the field from each other. Like, hey, you're here, you don't want to be here, you want to be with your family.
Yeah, you want to get home to your family.
That's not what was happening in Ramadi. Like, these guys did the foreign insurgents that were coming into Ramadi were making life a living hell, and they wanted to die on the battlefield. I mean, they were extremists of Wahhabi Salafist Islam, and so there was none of that common ground type of thing. Like, dudes wanted to, it was pretty brutal.
I wonder if, in a sense, that makes it easier. Like, when you can definitively say,
oh yeah,
these people are bad people.
100%.
Then you can kind of, it probably helps with the guilt or the conscience that you have to deal with afterwards for,
Well, in that special that we were watching, they named the whole episode after this guy, and every time they would talk about one of their engagements, I'm waiting to hear he caught it in the head and he dropped and da-da-da-da, because they were focusing on this guy so much for the entire episode. And then they talked about one specific instance where a kid couldn't have been more than 10 years old. They had, put one of the guys down, and then the guy's looking through his scope and he sees this kid.
Oh, gosh.
And he's just holding his position, and then the kid reaches for the AK. Well, I mean, the AK-47, it's kind of the, what was it? The other Project Veritas video where you had the silly communist guy talking about, I want to go train it, I want to, whatever. But he brought up the the AK-47. And he said, this is the number one tool of, fighting, colonialism, da-da-da-da. That's like the only correct thing he said in the entire video. I mean, the guy was, completely batshit crazy. The guy's talking about making Bernie the supreme ruler of America.
Oh.
No more House, no more Senate, no more Supreme Court, just Bernie, and he gets the autocratic. Like, the guy was...
We're not going to do that.
completely and totally insane and crazy. But when he talked, the AK-47 is a massively accurate and pretty terrible weapon. Mm-hmm. And so when that kid picks up the AK, like, he's got to go. Because if you don't blitz that kid, then you're going to have to go and explain to some American mother why her son's in a box.
Right. And it's...
Dudes aren't trying to do that.
No, and the thing is, like, it's... From what I've heard, I've never been in this situation, but, like, they become, like, brothers out there. And it's like, 100%. I would, please. If there was a threat to my family, like, okay, I like you said, we're pacifists by conviction. It's not in my heart. I don't know what I would do in a situation where my family was threatened. I honestly don't know. I know what the right answer is, and I know what I should say as a Christian. I just don't know if I could follow through with that or not. Like, by the grace of God, yes, I could. But other than that, forget about it.
Yeah, I think...
You're...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna die for that shit.
So, these are your guys. And like, like you said, you're going to have to, you must know them and their families. And so that if anything happens, like, you might have to have that conversation with the family, and they're going to ask you what happened. And
they have a 10-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like, one of your guys probably has a 10-year-old kid, so you're going to tell that kid that...
Right. It's not like they want to shoot some kid.
Well...
I'm sure that there are some sickos out there that do, but I think the vast majority...
Right. So the guy that they were focusing on ended the deployment. He came back clean. He was completely fine. And then, 6 months later, he blew himself away.
He couldn't handle it.
He was rooming with one of his SEAL buddies, and then he blew himself away right there on the couch. So my point is, I can't see the dawn.
Right.
Only the dead have seen the end of war.
Yeah.
And so, his mom would talk about how his feet would be moving in his sleep, and he'd be, So, I mean...
But I wonder if, like, how much they keep it. Because when you think of a soldier, and you think of, like, soldiering through, you know what I mean? And, like, you have to eat it. You swallow that shit and make it work, you know what I mean? Like, what they have to do. And then to come back, like, I think that they would keep that same mindset instead of reaching out for the help.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But it's always fascinating to me how people handle those situations. So when I was in Texas, there was a guy that he was actually he's a very, very famous in the community because of things, and he was talking about how they were in a situation, and there was a woman that was giving up their position. And so he said, the next time that bitch pops up her head and points at me and us, I'm going to kill her. And so she did. And he killed her. So we're talking blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, man, I'm like, he was raised as a Southerner, and so Southern hospitality, definitely don't put your hands on women, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, are you struggling with that? He literally did not care. He didn't care. It was an act of war on her part, and he gave her opportunities. She didn't stop. He said in his little, he basically, shut up. She wouldn't shut up. Okay, shut up or I'm going to kill you. And she wouldn't shut up, and so he told his boys, he's like, yo, man, next time, I'm going to kill her. And he killed her. And he didn't care. So it's just, it says, my soul's left in ruins, I can't see the dawn. Like, some guys, like that guy, like, I believe if that guy would have had to shoot that 10-year-old, he would be the exact same way. But the other guy's like, whatever. And he was, in my mind, at least from what I could tell, legitimately fine. He'd been out for a while. And he was fine, functional, I mean, God almighty, it's just crazy stuff. And so you ask yourself, like, what's a better alternative? Be the guy that's so broken up that you did that to a kid that you kill yourself? This guy had a daughter himself. But he was just in that moment completely overcome with grief. And I'm not saying it's specifically for that reason, but, I'm sure that was a massive part of it, where you just can't escape, and reconcile to yourself that you did that to a kid.
It's weird because, like, I think I have no clue. Like, you make assumptions about yourself, but you don't know until you're in a situation. But I feel like I would be more like the other guy. I'd be like, well, I saved their lives, so, you know, it's not like...
Yeah.
You know, it's like there are some things that's like, wow, that was obviously wrong. Like, you're just killing a civilian that has nothing to do with the situation, and they're not trying to fight you or anything like that. You know, but the situations are so complex.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like I would go out there with my goal being... I know that there's a bigger goal, and that's the war that you're fighting.
Right.
But I would have... Actually, that guy that we were listening to before, he kind of said that. He was like, nobody's thinking basically about the bigger issue. They're thinking about getting their boys home.
Right.
And that's what would be... That's what would be my focus.
Right.
So, you know...
Right. And, you know, people say, well, why didn't you shoot him in the leg? Like...
Yeah.
It's not Fortnite. Like, that's not how it works.
Right.
You know, like... Your biggest target's going to be center mass, and if you shoot at this kid and you miss, and he squirts, you know, back, like, yeah, you got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So, you only have one choice: you kill the kid or let him go.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no shoot him in the leg. Like, secondly, if you shoot him in the leg on the battlefield, chances are he could bleed out and die right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not like you're gonna go down there and get a corpsman down there and help the guy. Yeah. Because it's Ramadi. Like, just impossible situations where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If you die, then great, you finally don't have to see this crap. But you know, I think I was listening to I was reading C.S. Lewis's accounts of trench warfare, and I guess there was this kid that had gotten stuck in the barbed wire. And you know, nightfall was coming, or very close to nightfall, or somebody went out to fish him out, and a sniper clipped him, bang. So they quickly realized that they kept that kid alive so they had to listen to this kid the entire night, crying for help because he'd been incapacitated.
But for heaven's sakes, why didn't they just mercy kill the guy?
Yeah, easy for us to say. I mean, I agree with you, but, you know. And then the next day when daybreak happened, they just shot the kid, and then they you know, the bad guys shot the kid, and they went on with their business. So
I'd be yelling for mercy.
When I saw this, well, I mean, he's scared, and he doesn't want to die, and his friends are only 20 yards away. Right. You know, it's not... You know, people don't want to die.
Right.
Like,
no, yeah.
So it's just a horrible, horrible situation, and you just got to sit there impotently because, you know, if you're in the high-ranking authority in that situation, you're not gonna, you know, you're gonna most likely have to talk to that kid's mother, but you're not gonna send 5 other kids' mothers into the same situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just horrible, horrible.
Yikes.
There was one quote that I heard that was horrible, like you know, when you're an officer, the guy goes like, "Are you ready to be an officer in a war zone?" And he goes, "Yes." And the guy goes, "Okay, so like, what's the most difficult aspect of the job?" And he was like, "Well, to make sure that no matter whatever happens, that I'm the one that dies instead of my men. That I choose to die instead of my men." Like,
but you can't do that as the officer?
That's what's supposed to happen. And the guy goes, "And you're not ready." The guy's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "As an officer, you have to choose which men die."
Oh, gosh.
God almighty. Forget it.
Okay, I wouldn't be good at...
I'm out.
I couldn't be an officer.
I'm out.
I couldn't be an officer.
I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's it. Like,
I couldn't do it.
Modern warfare, especially the American version, is a lot different. You know, there's so many things and so much technology and the interdependence and interplay between various branches of the military and things like that. I mean, now you'd never have a camp, you know, out in broad day like that. You just send a gunship over there or 500-pound bomb or whatever and just clean them all out. You wouldn't even fire a single shot, you know. So just crazy situations. Like war, man. War is a pretty crazy situation in itself. And
this whole thing right here, these trenches that were now covered over by grass.
Green,
yeah, that was, I don't know, there was
extremely
just
symbolic.
Something, that was like really disturbing and sick to me about that. Like symbolic to you maybe, but like really disturbing to me. That like you can have so much death and so much pain in an area. Well, yeah, it is extremely symbolic. And then, like, see, for me, I would want to fill in these holes. You know what I mean? Level it out, but...
I think posterity needs to know what happened there.
Yeah.
And you need to keep retelling the stories.
That's
because
crazy.
This way, inshallah, you avoid it.
You don't have to redo it. Yeah, I agree with you.
So...
I just...
Shout out to the French, man.
If there's anybody military that's listening and, you know, you're in trouble or you're having thoughts you can't, you know, seem to get, we're going to put some links in the description of this video.
100%.
Like, reach out for help, get some help. Don't wait until, like, sometimes, like, this is a totally horrible, like, analogy, but, like, sometimes things are bothering me and I'll, like, hold them in and hold them in and hold them in and I think I can handle it, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll blow up on some, like, small little thing and Vin's like, whoa, what's, you know? And, like, I'm sure that it's the same way with that. Like, if you keep holding it in, you might hit a situation where it kind of puts you over the edge and you can't hold it in, and then something really dangerous or bad might happen. So if you're having those thoughts or having some bad feelings and you really need to talk about it, like, reach out. There's professionals that can, you know, that can help you, and, you know, get the help that you need. You know, we're praying people, so you can always send us an email and say, hey, I need some prayer. So
100%. Yeah. Really good song, though.
Yeah.
Musicianship was on point, man.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
Solos, just the whole 9
Yep.
yards. It was completely on point.
Yep.
It's a 10 for me.
Oh, yeah, me too.
100% a 10.
Yeah, all day long.
And, you know, you had close to 500,000 people die on both sides. Also, shout out to Germany, man. Like, you know, hey, this is World War I, and these are kids doing this stuff, and they're fighting for Deutschland. You know, like,
Yeah.
whether or not their governments were righteous, to lose that many people and still keep going, both on the French and German side, much freaking respect, man.
Yeah.
That's every nation has its sort of history of brave warfighters, and it's obviously, as a pacifist, something I'm trying to not glamorize.
Yeah.
But there is something very amazing about young men who have not hit their prime, who are willing to
I know.
sacrifice all of that because they've got somebody beside them.
Yeah. That is
and,
pretty
and
crazy.
war is the only sort of situation where something like that gets expressed. So, inshallah, I'm looking for a future where we have that sort of brotherhood and love for each other, without the jihad.
Yeah,
That'd
exactly.
be great. That'd be
Exactly.
great. All right, there you are.
Well,
dear
thank
listener.
you, Epic Underground, for
Happy
your
B-Day. Happy B-Day,
and
Pony.
happy birthday again to Pony.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.